Welcome back to episode 9 of Deadly Dissection. And this is our holiday episode, Tasha.
Yes, it is. Until next month when we
Until next month.
pick a Christmas movie, it'll
This,
be
this is a
fun.
milestone for us. This is our first holiday episode together. And this is only
Right?
like your third or fourth episode with me? And we're
Third?
already third, yeah. And
I
we're already
think.
at a milestone.
Right?
I'm gonna get you a certificate made.
I mean, technically, every show can be a milestone. Like, yes, this is the second one. Yes, this is the third one. And just, be that excited and bring that energy
Every
every
time.
freaking time.
Every time you keep coming back
That's right.
for more. So we are doing Thanksgiving by Eli Roth tonight. And Eli Roth, I don't know how he is for you, but he's hit and miss for me. But this one was a hit.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings um with some of his stuff. Um because I'm not, I mean, you know how I am with like body horror and like super grossness. So
Hmm.
like Hostel and that kind of thing isn't really up my alley.
Yeah.
Um but and there were, I'm not gonna lie, I covered my eyes for parts of this movie too because I actually saw this in theaters when it came out.
Yeah.
Um so I knew what was coming for the most part. And there were some times I was like, oh, let me just go make sure the dogs have water in their bowl or some other random thing I can take care of to get out of the way for a minute. So
You're gonna have a hard time when we do the substance
I know.
or human centipede.
God. I still have not watched either one.
Well, I will make sure that that happens.
Oh, fantastic.
I will make sure that it happens. The whole point I asked you on the show, it was just a plot of mine to get you to watch Human Centipede.
You would too. You're like, what movies would absolutely destroy her? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
As
No,
we're sitting here talking about Terrifier 3, and I'm like, oh, I haven't tried it yet.
I don't have sinister intentions that way. Although it is funny. I can force you to or try to force you to watch these things.
I'll read a synopsis on an IMDb and be like, oh, yeah, I remember that part.
Tell me about all the kills so I can sound like I watched it.
Great.
But Thanksgiving horror is really not one that's tapped into too much. At the end of the show, I'll go through some different Thanksgiving horrors that are out there that are worth watching. There's not a lot of them. Period.
Which is
So
crazy because it feels like, I mean, even just looking at it from a historical perspective or just from a consumerism perspective, like there's
mhm,
a lot you can do with Thanksgiving that's
yes,
just like legit
yes,
horrifying.
there is absolutely. And some of the stuff throughout the years have been creative, like this one, and then some others that I will mention. But this one by far is, I would say, one of the best Thanksgiving themed holiday horror movies.
Yeah, definitely. Of the one I have seen, it is my favorite.
I mean, look, it's not like the top of a big hill because there's not much out there. So
That bar is set
the bar
real
is low,
low.
which Eli Roth was probably like, hey, where's the bar low at? I can go just above that,
Right? I
and
do
everybody
feel
will
like,
think I made a masterpiece.
yeah, I did. I do very heavily from this movie get the feeling that he just had so much fun with it, though, which I appreciate when you kind of get that vibe. Like they liked what they were doing here and had a good time with it.
Yep. So let's go ahead and jump into this. I'll talk a little bit about the plot and some of the actors, but basically, what you have going on in this movie is there is a Black Friday. I don't know if I guess you could call it maybe an accident, but
A
uh,
riot.
basically a tragedy, a riot, and people busting in the stores, breaking in, breaking stuff, and some people get killed. And so they have this whole Black Friday thing that hangs over the town. And people are upset with the store owner. He's got a lot of people after him in the town that don't like him. And then what begins to happen is the following Thanksgiving, they're still going to open the store, and our teenage are they teenagers, young adults, college age,
I think they're like senior year
senior year. So
or junior year.
they start having those videos of the tragedy start to resurface and being tagged in them in their social media. And then one by one, they begin to get picked off by this killer wearing a John Carver mask. They're around. This takes place in Plymouth, Massachusetts. John Carver, this pilgrim, big thing of the town. Everybody celebrates, and this killer goes around dressed like John Carver, taking out people who are somehow connected. And that's part of what you're trying to figure out is how are these people connected? Why is this killer going after these particular people? And as the film progresses, it's one of those whodunit slashers like Valentine or like Scream. So you're trying to guess and figure out who the killer is, and there's a few red herrings. Like it wasn't one of these films where they go crazy trying to throw you off track. They just kind of keep things mysterious and hidden.
Yeah, they give you enough options that you're like, well, this is reasonable and this guy's reasonable and probably that one. And and they're clever with how they work it in kind of as part of the police investigation too. So it's
Yeah,
not just like a blatant, oh, hey, this guy's probably the killer. Like you're kind of following along with their process.
yeah. And you have one of the characters, Bobby, and he's like this baseball player, and he gets his arm hurt in the tragedy, and then he leaves town, and then he shows back up the next year. So then there's suspicion around him being the killer. And the other thing that I like, we're talking about actors and actresses. I was impressed with Patrick Dempsey in a slasher movie.
Yeah. They they did a good job. Like there were a lot of familiar faces
Yeah.
in here, but his character in general, especially with the plot twists and everything, like I felt he did really well. 'Cause
Yes.
he's been in horror before, hasn't he?
Yeah. I don't think I think he's done a few. I don't know if he's done a slasher though, and had the role
Yeah.
that he had
Yeah.
in this particular one, which was great. Like I loved him. He was my favorite in this,
Yeah.
which I I never watched him in Grey's Anatomy or anything like that. Was never a big fan of that show or him
Yeah.
whatsoever till some of his later stuff. But seeing him in this, I was like, oh man, he did a great job.
He did. He rocked it as sheriff.
And you had Gina Gershon was in this too as Amanda Collins, so she's another standout name
Okay.
worth mentioning. And also Rick Hoffman, who plays Thomas, the store owner.
Oh yeah,
Well,
he was the
that
other
is
one that
big.
I heavily recognized.
Yes, people recognize his face. A lot of them are people that you're not going to recognize, newer names, but these are kind of the standout actors and actresses that when once you see this, you'll be like, oh yeah, I recognize them
Yeah.
from
Hey,
such
I
and
know that
such
guy.
movie. What's that?
I said, hey, I know that guy.
Yes. So that is your basic plot breakdown. We're going to go through more of what takes place in this movie as we talk about some of the themes. Because, on this show, we're all about taking the themes of this movie or any movie we do that has depth, and we break these themes down and we talk about how horror applies to everyday life, to things, whether it's in theology, philosophy, psychology, sociology, political, daily life, whatever. We show you how really these movies speak to modern life. And believe it or not, believe it or not, Thanksgiving one hits at the heart of something that is deeply embedded in American culture. So, Tasha, why don't you
Mhm.
go ahead and take it away and tell us about some of these themes that impacted you from this movie?
So, disclaimer, if anybody is like a huge high school or college football fan, I'm probably going to offend you.
I played I played football in high school and college.
Living near Knoxville and having to deal with UT and all their insanity, like, I just, I can't. And being from the North originally, like, it's not like, yeah, we get into high school sports, but it's not like it is here. I kind of have a running joke that high school football here is a mental illness, college football here. Either one, really, take your pick. Um, so I liked at the very beginning, there's that family dysfunction. I mean, obviously that continues throughout, but they open like just showing you like all these peaceful scenes, all these people happy to see each other. And then the jokes start being made where Thomas and Kathleen are, I don't remember if he announced a proposal or announced the wedding, but Bobby made the joke, well, it was a short engagement. Hopefully it'll be a short marriage.
Yeah.
So you kind of, everybody has that cousin that they sit to the side with and, you know, make all their observations about Thanksgiving. So I like that they kind of start right off the bat with like, here's this glamorous holiday and all this food is delicious and everybody's happy and this is wonderful. And then they just kind of like start digging into the gossip and the ugliness of it.
Hmm.
Um, and from there, it moves pretty quickly into the store. Um, and this one, and I know that it's not inherently like, oh, hey, these kids are football players, like they're assholes. Um, but even seeing in person how football is treated and like high school athletes, like the star athletes,
Hmm.
can be treated. Um, like they have, there's no, and obviously this isn't the golden rule. I know there's exceptions to it. So before anybody yells at me, I know. But I saw a lot growing up too, where it's like, okay, this is our star athlete on this team. So we're going to give him an extra opportunity to get this work done. Or, you know what, we're going to go ahead and bump his grade up just a little bit so that he can still play. Or, oh man, he's the quarterback of the football team. Like, we got to make sure that he gets like a free dinner when he comes into the diner. And treating kids at that age, oh my God, we're to the point where those are kids. Um,
Yeah, you're old like me.
a moment of silence for my youth. Um,
Yeah.
they to be treated at that age like you are a hero and you're invincible, I feel like helps create this sense where they're like, it doesn't matter what I do. I'm not going to get in
Hmm.
trouble for this. Like, I'm untouchable. So, like you mentioned, like we have them in there filming, like people are being crushed to death, and one lady gets scalped. That was
Yeah,
one I
that was brutal.
had to look away for that one. Because those shopping carts are dangerous.
Yeah,
Like,
so the her hair gets caught in a shopping cart, and then the shopping cart pulls away, and it just whoosh.
oh, so
And I
bad.
think I think what he was doing there, you got the whole Thanksgiving, the Pilgrims and Native Americans. I think that was reminiscent of a Native American scalping.
Oh, that could very well be. That makes
Maybe I read too much into these things, but that was my
sense.
initial thought. I was like,
Well, you know what? That's what we're here
scalping,
for, is to just read into whatever we want to read into.
right?
And that's kind of what sets off this riot too. Is like there's a a rival team member who is there in the crowd that apparently one of these teenagers punched, And
Yeah.
he's like, oh, can't let that go. Let's just sit here and rile him up a little bit more. And, even even being that age, I can't fathom being in a position where you're seeing this happen and people are getting hurt and you're still just like, oh, dude, let me see what's out there. Let me show everybody what's going on. So, that being a nerd, also, I was not a cool kid. I mean, I was like still kind of a kiss ass, but I was not an athletic nerd by any means. So it's coming at it from that side and seeing these like super popular kids doing these horrible things. When it comes back around the next year, it's almost kind of really hard to feel sorry for them.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like that was another good theme is like what you post to the internet stays on the internet. Because he says at
Yeah.
one point he's pretty sure all the videos came down, but it starts circulating again. So just remember, kids, once it's out there, it's out there.
Out there.
I'm
It's
so
out
glad
there.
we didn't have to deal with this as kids. Can you imagine if we'd had social media growing up?
I was thinking about that the other night in our small group Bible study at the church I go to, and we were talking about how social media and how it affects people and stuff like that. And I was just thinking about, oh my gosh, like I think back at my childhood, like we weren't thinking about what to post or how we were going to be perceived by everybody or what was going to happen with this or trying to keep up with this latest trend. And it's like
Yeah.
it creates an added level of anxiety
Oh,
almost.
absolutely. And like the
Um,
bullying and everything that can happen. Like some of
yeah,
the dumb stuff, like I was a good kid, but I still did a lot of really dumb shit. And if that
yeah,
had ended up on like Facebook or Instagram,
we all
like
did. Yeah,
no, that would
and
have been
then
rough.
you're talking about the bullying, and bullying was big. I mean, you even see it in the '80s movies. Like it was big
Oh
when
yeah.
I grew up in the '80s and stuff like that. And I can't imagine how much worse with my generation it would have been if
Oh yeah.
we had social media. So yeah, that whole the whole social media influencer culture, he stabs a knife in uh,
Hmm.
as well in this movie and hits at that and the ills of the influencer social media culture.
Yeah. And I feel like I mean her dad, um Amanda's dad, Thomas. I feel like he's the best example of it, but it kind of falls under the kids too, is like this feeling of if it doesn't personally impact me, I don't care.
Yeah.
He's had people die in his store, this horrible, horrible tragedy. And he's like, okay, well, we got to make it bigger this year. We'll hire more security and whatever. But we're still gonna do it because can't lose out on that money.
Yeah.
Got to have the money. And they mentioned that he does like a lot of charitable work after the fact to kind of like make up for it, but never really addresses
What
what
happened?
happened. So it's just kind of like, oh, well, if I just throw a bunch of money at some different things, people will just forget this ever happened, which obviously does not work well in his favor. But that's, on a much broader scale, feel like that's how we ended up where we are now. Is like if this particular incident, if this particular law, whatever, doesn't impact me personally, why
Hmm.
do I care?
Yeah.
Because people just don't, it doesn't matter what anybody else is going through. So he definitely, I know Black Friday is nothing like what it used to be, courtesy to online shopping and
Hmm.
all of that. But I mean, there's no better example of being more focused on what you want and what you need. Well, not really need, it's all but pretty much want,
Yeah.
uh, rather than the well being of anybody else.
Yeah, you're caught up in that that own world, your own little world, and you're first, and screw everybody else.
Yeah.
And the thing is that that mentality that carries over into other places in your life. If you're that way, and you see it, and you see the way that that happens when people don't think about people in our own country who are different than they are. You're talking about politics and laws and things that are passed where it's like, well, it doesn't affect me. But it's like, well, I've got a friend who, is of this race or this minority or this sexual orientation or this or that, and that affects them. And if I
Oh,
care
yeah.
about that person,
It should
then
affect you.
it should. I mean, that's really when we look at, bringing my perspective in here from Christian theology. The whole love your neighbor aspect is that you don't just think about yourself.
The waffle iron, though, they needed to have the waffle iron.
So
You
that,
know, probably.
and what?
Oh, go ahead. Go
No, I
ahead.
was just gonna say that and just the whole greed in consumerism. It's interesting that when we look at greed from the New Testament perspective, is a lot of the New Testament writers always associate it with idolatry. Greed, a lot of times, is associated. There's scriptures that talk about avoiding greed, staying away from greed, which is idolatry. So it
Yeah.
is basically this god of self is what greed is, and it's this inverted worship. Whereas instead of loving the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength, and loving your neighbor as yourself, it's all inverted. It's loving myself with all of my heart, mind, soul, and strength, and what I can get. And it's that insatiable appetite that's never filled. It needs more and more and more and more and more stuff.
Yeah.
And
Because
all,
even if you're not shopping for yourself personally, you want to be the person giving the best gifts.
yeah,
Like, you have to be the one that gets so and so that one thing that nobody else was going to be able to get them. Which, thinking about it, like, that's not even really a thing anymore. Like, nobody's going to have, like, the Furby of their generation now because they can just order it online and run
yeah,
with it. So,
yeah.
God, that probably makes some of this kind of hard for younger generation to relate to. I feel so old.
Well, maybe the whole shopping on Black Friday thing, but greed is a problem with humanity, no
In
matter
general.
what
Yeah.
age you are or what culture you're in. Like, this can surface, but
Yeah.
we tend to, in a capitalistic society, greed tends to work well for that type of mindset. Is how it's successful,
Oh, yeah.
because it's built on you know greed.
Yeah. And I feel like there was, um, what was, oh, she was the woman that worked at the diner. I don't remember what her name was. I don't even care. I'm glad she was one of the first to go.
Yeah,
She was a bitch.
yeah,
Um, but I liked how her technology lets her down. You know, she's like being attacked and she's trying to get into her phone to dial 911. Fingerprints not recognizing, facial recognition's not working because of the blood smears and everything.
yeah.
Like, this item that she was out there fighting people for and crushing other people for and like literally committing crimes to get is absolutely worthless when it comes down to her trying to live.
Hmm.
Um, and again, I could be, excuse me, reading way too much into that, but it's fun to think that that's what it was. Is like a little dose of karma. Like, hmm, how's that working for you now? Is that
Yeah,
good? Can you hear me now? Like,
the flip phone. Um,
yep.
but greed has a way of dehumanizing other people. I think that's the other thing we see in this movie. It's just the dehumanization that happens in that Thanksgiving, that Black Friday riot there. I think that's another consequence of greed is dehumanization.
And he
So
kind of does that with how he goes about doing things too. Like when he creates the Thanksgiving dinner from the people that he's going
yeah,
after.
yeah. Well, and what's crazy is you look at what goes on in this movie. You've got the things that you mentioned. You got the Black Friday tragedy. You have nobody taking responsibility, nobody caring, people sweeping it under the rug. They basically created this killer
Oh yeah.
because what happens is this killer is taking revenge for what happened on that day. Like that's clear. We're not giving away anything. Um, and so that greed, that not addressing what happened really basically created this killer. um and so you've got this town, everything is neat and nice on the outside, but they refuse to acknowledge what happened. They don't address their sins. They don't address what they've done. They just try to sweep it under the rug and let's just move on, and
Hmm.
not even realizing that what happened and what they allowed to happen and what they caused severely affected somebody else's life and traumatized them, took things away from that person. And then like think of how that feels. Like if you have somebody taken from you like that in this tragedy, and then you've got the town covering it up, nobody's acknowledging that, and they
Yeah.
just go on and dismiss it.
And in the most senseless
You
way possible.
can you
Like,
imagine the rage?
oh my God. Yeah, I would be so like to know that all that would have taken was a little bit of human decency on everybody's part, and it would have been fine. Would like destroy me. Like
Yeah,
I would be John Carver. I would be so mad. And I felt like because you got your symbolism in the last one. I feel like this one's catering to me. The symbolism of this character that the town invests so much in and celebrates, and they're all wearing his masks, and like this thing that they're kind of worshiping coming back to dispense justice.
yeah,
Um, like this thing that you've put so much stock in is doesn't care about you and is just going to turn around and slice and dice you. Um, so I definitely appreciated the irony there because irony is like my favorite thing ever. So anytime there's a good dose of it, I'm like, yes.
yeah. There definitely is.
What was your favorite kill?
Um, I don't know if I have a favorite one. My favorite scenes though are towards the end when they're all around the table and then people start dying and getting gutted and killed and stuff around the table. I I that's my favorite scene in the whole movie.
Yeah,
Is there towards the end, that whole setup that they've got going on with all the body parts and the people. It's like a mock Thanksgiving, but
yeah,
it's the Thanksgiving the town deserves. That's the other thing. It's like they present this picture of happiness, togetherness, Thanksgiving, and Thanksgiving is supposed to be a time where we are thankful for one another and this or that, and it's all a veneer, like it's all
mhm.
show for this community. So the John Carver killer gives these people the Thanksgiving they deserve,
There
right?
were, I think, the worst two kills for me. Um, Worst, but also kind of the best ones or most creative ones in the movie. The trampoline. Um, because I mean, once you're up in the air, what can you do? Like you're coming down.
Yeah,
Um, and then Kathleen as the turkey. Like
yeah,
just imagining being trapped in that oven
yeah.
and oh
So
That was rough.
Hansel and Gretel moment
That was gross.
there.
Um, and I did like that during the one of the kills where the person he just murdered has the cat and the cat's hungry, so he stops to feed the cat. Like, you're fine. It's just humans that are trash. So let me make sure that you don't go hungry because who knows when they're gonna find this body. Like,
Yeah,
it was just I was like, that's right, you feed that cat, man.
yeah. Now, for those of you who don't know, Tasha cannot do animal death
No.
in a movie. We were joking about that
I
last
cannot.
night because I had watched Kill List and I had brought it up. I was like, "Hey Tasha, have you seen this one before?" And she's like, "I don't know, I don't remember." And she looked it up and she was like, "Oh yeah, I gave it a 3.5 on Letterbox." And I was like, 3.5? Like the movie's better than a 3.5. And as I'm watching it, I realized that they killed the dog, and I was like, "There's Tasha's 3.5 right there." So
See, and I had to have blocked it out because I can only imagine that if it was like a central focus, I would have given it like a 2
it wasn't a
just
central
for
focus.
killing the dog.
It was a scene like they're talking and the two hitmen and they're like, "Are you gonna kill his dog?" And he's like, "Yeah, probably." And then way later on in the movie, once they go do the hit, uh one of the guys is waiting in the car and the other guy is performing the hit. And then when the guy walking in from the car comes in and he sees the guy and the dog dead. So I was like, there's a 3.5 instead of a 4 right
I
there.
did that. I did like an entire Halloween franchise ranking. I can't talk. Rob Zombie 2 is at the absolute bottom because they killed that dog. Like, how dare you? The nerve.
The dog, yeah,
I mean, it's not a great movie to begin with, but it's a sure way to get a trip to the bottom. Leave the dogs alone.
yeah, they're you know innocent.
They're sleeping. He is, anyways. Ripley's out harassing my mom and my sister. So
Oh, so this going back to Thanksgiving, right? This John Carver killer, right? His killings start to force the community to face what they have done,
in a
right?
very public way.
Yes, very public way. Like the most stupidest kill is the lady in the trash bin when the car hits and the thing falls on her
Oh,
and it cuts her in half. It's like, come on, man! Like that's so unrealistic. Like you just wanted to show a body getting cut in half with guts hanging out,
probably.
and then
Yeah.
they display it up on top of the store, the bottom half of the body.
Oh, yeah. He pins it up on top of the sign for the diner.
Yeah, that to me was like so over the top ridiculous.
Yeah.
Uh,
It was cool that they included elements like that where they're like, he's posting these pictures of this beautifully set Thanksgiving table and he's tagging all the kids in it
yeah,
and
he's got
anybody
their
that was
names
involved.
there.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So it's a very public, and he doesn't hide any of his kills. Like he's all about making sure everybody's knowing what he's doing, just as John Carver and not who he actually is.
yeah. And going back to that, and when they show that final scene, like what I love about it is you've got the symbol of the whole holiday ritual like gone wrong, flipped on its head. This Carver killer ends up turning Thanksgiving traditions into weapons and death scenes. Right,
Yeah,
so you've got the carving knives and you've got the oven roasting that that happens. The
yeah.
table
Like
settings that
the
you had mentioned,
the
uh,
corn cob things that he shoves in
yeah,
the
in her ears.
Yuli's ears.
Yeah,
Yeah, that got me too.
that would hurt, man.
Oh God, yeah, that'd be rough.
Uh, so
And there
you've
were
got
fake outs too. There were some good fake outs,
Yeah.
where you thought something was about to happen, but they kind of catch you off guard. Wait for it, bam.
Yep. Yeah. So, what else was I gonna say about the Thanksgiving setting? The cornucopia to um, turkey decorations. So he takes these rituals that are designed to bring people together, thankfulness, and he totally flips them on his head and uses them as revenge and death. But again, like I said, it's the Thanksgiving that these people deserve.
Yeah.
Like that's part of what I like about this movie is uh, it goes back to, you had the 80s style slasher like Slaughterhouse, where you had the bullied kid and he goes and he's getting revenge on his bullies and stuff like that, and you were wanting to see those people get taken out.
Yeah.
And this kind of reverts to that. Like I'm cheering for John Carver
Oh,
in
absolutely.
in this movie because of what these people have done. Like,
Those kids made me so mad. But also, like, they worked a lot of humor in. I mean, you have to in a movie like this.
yeah,
Um, but when they cancel the football game and the one kid like stalks off and he's like, "I'm going to play football." The other one's like, "You can't play football by yourself. Watch me." Like I was losing it because it's like part of that obliviousness along with, not having any sense of consequences for things. But it's
yeah,
just like he's just so far removed from like reality. Um, Several years ago, you know what I was doing for work. Um, and so I was law enforcement dispatch. I won't say who with. But one of the officers that I worked with pulled over the coach for UT at the time.
hmm,
And the response that he first got when he got to the window was, "Don't you know who I am?" And not even being there, I was just like, find something to arrest him for just on principle.
yeah.
Like it's insane to me. And even as adults, we are fully aware of what consequences should be. And they just hit that point where you just don't give a shit because nobody's ever made you face them before.
Yeah,
And they keep raising tuition at college so that you can make like $8 million a year to coach football at a college.
yeah, yep.
That's another one of my soapbox things. But no offense to anybody that's ever gotten an athletic scholarship. Good on you as long as you had good grades. If it was entirely for your athleticism,
Got
that's
to
all I
itch.
gotta say.
Well, it
Not,
seems to be a pattern in this country. The more rich and more powerful you are, the less you are going to face consequences for anything that you do. That is the thing that drives me insane about politics and politicians, and
yeah,
that's on, whether we're talking Republicans or Democrats, either side. Like, man, just accountability.
yeah,
Accountability. Why should they be held to a different standard than normal citizens? Why do they get to get away with stuff that normal citizens don't? It's because it's not at the end of the day, it's not about true justice. I don't
no.
know, true justice doesn't run this country. It doesn't. It's a joke.
I did appreciate that by the end of it, Thomas seems like he's finally catching on. But
Yeah.
again, kind of along those lines of if it doesn't personally affect me, I don't care. Now all of a sudden his family's on the line. So he kind of
Mhm.
has to care. But, the fact that he does make that shift and isn't so obtuse
Yeah.
as far as it goes, um, which, his wife, her stepmom clearly is. Because I think they say at one point it was her that deleted the security film or the security
Mhm.
footage from the store that night. so they
Yeah.
could have like identified what happened. Um, and she's behind him the whole time, like pushing and pushing and pushing. Oh, you got to open the store. You got to open the store. Um, which is kind of, I haven't worked retail in a long time. I worked in the hospital. I worked law enforcement dispatch where holidays don't matter because somebody has to work
Oh,
regardless.
yeah.
But having, and I think most of us have started in retail at some point, whether it was
Mhm.
part time or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and this shift that they made to where, Black Friday wasn't enough. We have to open stores at midnight. Um, where people at least had Thursday to spend together and appreciate what they have right before they go out and chaos buy more.
Yeah.
Um, it's again, it's like what people want to get for deals and being on top of these things. Like these stores can push these hours back because they know people will show up. Nobody's like, well, you know what? We can give it a day. Like let these people who have to work. And I have worked a Black Friday once in my life, and I swore I would never do it again. I was at Walmart. I was like just before my 21st birthday. I have never seen such rampant not giving a damn for people in general. And I had to leave after like 2 hours because I was sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
And of course, yay, anxiety. Um, but it was horrifying to see in person. And I feel like some of that probably gets lost with the technology too. Like nobody there isn't quite that rush anymore because now it's like Black Friday week or we're starting Black Friday sales 2 weeks before
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. And I don't know if that makes it better or worse.
Yeah.
What was the
Only
big rush, like the last big fad thing that you remember people having to have when you were a kid? I'm asking you to age yourself.
when I was a kid, um, I was a kid in the 80s, early 90s,
Whew.
and I don't know. Like I just remember always wanting like the latest Transformer, GI Joe, wrestlers. When I got into like sixth, seventh, eighth grade, then it started to be focused on clothes and shoes and
Hmm.
stuff like that. And then, of course, in high school, it began to be about cars and stuff like that. But the thing is that if you go through a flood or a fire, you will realize how really not important things are, right? When you lose things, like it can be taken away in a heartbeat. And
Yeah.
like if you're if your whole life is invested in a pursuit of gain of
Thanks.
materialistic things, like it is an empty pursuit because it can all be taken away in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Like all of these things you trampled people for, all of these things that um, you know you coveted, and these things that you manipulated, these things that you cheated people to get, like it's all going away. It's all going away. It
Yeah.
decays, and you leave it all behind when you die. So it's like here we are, such a consumerist culture, a greedy culture over things, over inanimate things, as opposed to people who are living, breathing creatures with feelings and emotions and desires and things that they want to be and become in life. And the emphasis is totally flip flopped. But that's what greed does. Dehumanizes.
Yeah. I feel like we'll see that. And it's funny because I was thinking, we don't see that a lot as far as like there being more Thanksgiving movies, but there are a ton of Christmas movies that do that.
Yeah.
Um, like the one that always comes to mind for me is Jingle All the Way with Arnold
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Where there's just like that frantic rush to get this toy. Um, I think the last one I remember was the Furbies.
Mm-hmm.
Because my grandma got me, my brother, and my cousin one. And I remember her saying something about like standing in line for however long. Um, and then, I mean, when I was like a kid, it was like kind of Polly Pocket
Yeah.
stuff or like the get your life size Barbie doll. Um, and a lot of the Power Wheels.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted a Power Wheels so bad. They were a lot less expensive to maintain than my actual car.
Hey, look, I'll get you a Power Wheel.
Just make sure it's got trunk space for well, Journey and Ripley can run alongside it. They could keep
Yeah,
up.
yeah, they'll run alongside of it. Just tie the leashes on. I'll get you a Jeep one, and it has
Yes,
bars, and you can tie
the roll
that
bar.
leash on there, and they can run beside you. There you go.
Right?
Problem
Oh,
solved.
yeah,
I,
just like
well,
that.
I'd love to see you drive down the street to go to the grocery store in a Power Wheel.
That'd be that'd be pretty great.
Yeah,
I have to go down some pretty big roads to get to the grocery store, so
it might
that
not
would be
make
one
it
of
back
those
uphill.
that would be one of those things where I'd have to like place bets on how many times I'd get pulled over. Um, well, I guess they couldn't really pull me over because I'd be on the shoulder already, but what's the difference between that and riding a motorcycle or a bicycle?
I don't know.
Just let me look cool in my Power Wheels and go get my eggs and bacon.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the difference is. I
It's
don't know.
ridiculous.
You worked in dispatch and around that. You should know the answer.
I worked in dispatch. I didn't have to deal with the traffic laws. Those are my
No,
favorite calls where people like calling in wanting legal advice, and it's like, I
can't do
can't
that.
help you.
Can't do that.
Not things.
So before we close out tonight, I wanted to list some more Thanksgiving movies here
Yes.
at the end. But before I do that, anything else you want to say about Eli Roth's Thanksgiving?
Don't treat high school athletes like they're invincible.
Mm-hmm.
Kids in general. Like I I feel like we're hopefully at a point where our generation is raising kids and raising them to be better. Um I hope
Yeah.
because I feel like we went through this phase kind of well, my age and a couple of years behind me where like people's parents were really difficult on them, so they were like, I'm just going to be the nicest parent in the whole world, and we ended up with some monsters. Um so raise your kid to not trample people on Black Friday.
Yeah. Good parenting advice.
Right.
Yeah.
Taken from someone who has two monsters in my house. um, who might as well be my children. They're spoiled rotten, but they're
Yes,
still sweet.
they are guard dogs.
So I know, my poor pups. So yeah,
So,
just be good people, man.
well, I think it's safe to say we both highly recommend Eli Roth's Thanksgiving. If you have not
Yes,
seen it,
yes.
check this one out. Now, some other Thanksgiving horror movies that are either really good or really bad. It doesn't make a difference because there's not a lot of Thanksgiving horror out there. So,
Agreed.
the first one I want to mention is really, really good, and it's one of my favorite. '80s slasher. It's called Blood Rage from 1987. This is a slasher that takes place on Thanksgiving. You've got twin brothers with mistaken identity. There's a lot of gore, and a lot of great kills in this movie. So, have you seen Blood Rage?
I have not. I've seen
Okay.
it pop up on, I think, like, what are those
I,
really good 80s docu-series? Into the
yeah,
Darkness, I think.
yeah. In Search of Darkness.
Yeah.
Better, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was on there. I saw mention of it.
Now it's not streaming anywhere right now. I looked this past week because I wanted to watch it, and I
That's
don't own
dumb.
it. And I'm mad at myself
You
for not
don't
owning
own it?
it. Believe it or not. Um,
Wow.
yeah, I know, right? So Blood Rage, and then of course you have Thanksgiving and Thanksgiving 3 about the demonic turkey. So those are great B movies. The first one is tame compared to the third one. And there is no second one. That's the spoof. The second one is lost. Um, Another one is, have you seen Christie from 2014? So this one is basically a home invasion style, but it's set during Thanksgiving break at a nearly like a vacant college campus. And this
Ah.
girl gets stuck there during Thanksgiving break because something happens and she can't get home. And so these killers are chasing her around on the college campus during Thanksgiving break.
Hmm.
So that one is definitely worth checking out. That one is good. A and that one is streaming. I'm not sure where, but you can find Christie. It actually might be on Amazon or Shutter or Hulu. It's on one of them. I saw it this week.
Okay.
Um, the next one I'm gonna mention is on YouTube. It's called Home Sweet Home from 1981. It is a horrible 80s slasher. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. You got this drug addicted maniac who ends up escaping an institution and attacks families during Thanksgiving. It's not well done. It's
Oh,
horribly
dear.
acted. So if you like those movies like me, um, then you'll want to check it out because I watched it. I liked it for what it was. Another one that I would recommend is The Last Thanksgiving from 2020. This is a slasher film about a family of cannibals who hate modern Thanksgiving, and they begin to target people who don't appreciate and celebrate Thanksgiving. And so
Really?
they end up focusing on this diner that is open for Thanksgiving and making its employees work because they're like, well, they're not honoring Thanksgiving. They're not honoring being with their family. So they
Huh.
all descend on this diner. It's very it's an indie. It's B movie, but it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. It's fun. It's got some great kills in it and stuff like that. So the last Thanksgiving 2020, that is one worth checking out. Then you've got Pilgrim from 2019 on Hulu about the family that gets the Thanksgiving Pilgrim reenactors. You've seen that one, right? You haven't seen it,
Well, I saw it pop up on Hulu, but I haven't watched it.
but you know of it.
Yeah.
Okay, that one is worth seeing. It's not as good as Eli Roth's Thanksgiving, but it's still fun. Another fun one, if you like B movies, is Derelicts from 2017. I just finished this one up for the first time this past week. I'd never heard of it, and I found it. I found it on Tubi, and it's basically a home invasion style Thanksgiving where you have this weird psychotic Texas Chainsaw Massacre like family that comes in and just totally ruins this family's Thanksgiving. And they torture them, do all kinds of horrible things to
Hmm.
them. No motive whatsoever than just being evil and wanting to torment somebody on Thanksgiving.
Those are the scariest ones, honestly.
Yeah, yeah, and the people are psychotic. Um,
Yeah.
Another one that is on Hulu along with Pilgrim, and it's from the same Into the Dark series, is called Flesh and Blood. And this one takes place a day before Thanksgiving, and a girl suspects that her father is possibly a killer or murderer.
Oh.
So that one is pretty good. one of the craziest ones on my list, and it's not Thanksgiving per se, but it is definitely one that you should watch on Thanksgiving. It is from 1972, Blood Freak. Have you heard of Blood Freak?
I want to say yes, but also I feel like most 80s movies have blood in the title somewhere.
This one is wild. Okay, it's like this grindhouse slash Christian themed movie because you have like a lot of biblical themes because like one of the ladies in this movie is like really really religious, and it's this weird combination of like some religious themes and grindhouse, and you have a man who mutates into like this giant turkey-headed monster, and he starts killing people. Um, and yeah, so he eats some kind of lace turkey or something like that, I think. And
That's amazing.
it's insane. It's insane. So this is one that I recommend is Blood Freak from 1972. Only one on my list that I have not seen is Amityville Thanksgiving. I have not yet watched this one from 2022, so I cannot say. But anything Amityville, you can imagine
Yeah.
what it will be like. Um, let's see. The last one on my list is actually a supernatural one, Tasha.
Oh.
It is the movie Seance from 2006, and this one takes place during Thanksgiving break, and these students end up summoning a spirit while stuck in their dorm during their Thanksgiving break.
Oh.
So
It's a good way to fuck things up.
always summon a spirit. If you're bored over Thanksgiving break and locked in a dorm by yourself, just summon a spirit.
They'll keep
Liven
you
things up.
company. It's fine.
Yeah. So very few Thanksgiving movies, but those are some that people, if they are looking for something to watch over the holiday season and they've already seen Eli Roth's Thanksgiving, then check those out. They're a lot of fun.
They are.
We will be off next week for Thanksgiving, but we will return after that. Don't know what we're going to do yet.
We should do like all Christmas movies for December.
Okay.
There's so many to choose from.
Lots. Definitely going to be doing Terrifier 3, though, for you.
Of course. That means we have to do the mean one.
The mean one. I'm down with that.
That's so good. I love
We
it
can
so
do
much.
we can do the mean one. I mean, they both star
David Howard
David
Thornton.
Horton, Art
The
Immigrant.
the mean one was another one where I went to the theater. I actually saw it when it came out on my birthday in theaters. Um, and I was expecting a more serious horror film. Um, but then as I quickly realized that that was not the case, I just leaned into it, man. My friend Michelle and I went, and our faces hurt by the time we left the theater. Like it was so good.
Yes, I'm looking forward to watching that one over with my kids. We're gonna do some Christmas movies actually starting this week over Thanksgiving, and we're gonna do Terrifier 3 and The Mean One.
So good.
So my oldest, she has not seen a Terrifier movie yet, and she is now willing to try it. She likes horror movies. All my kids do, but
Yeah.
she's more into like ghost, supernatural, paranormal. Now she likes Evil Dead and she likes When Evil Lurks, but she hasn't graduated yet to Terrifier. So we're gonna see how she handles that.
Curious to hear how she does.
I'll let everybody know. Let everybody
What's a
know.
doozy to start out with?
Yep. So thank you everybody for tuning in for episode 9, Eli Roth's Thanksgiving. And we will see you back here in 2 weeks And we'll be announcing on social media here pretty soon about which movie we will be covering starting in December, starting with the Christmas movies.
Already.
Yeah, it's here. The most wonderful time of the year.
Just so great.
So, well, thank you everybody for tuning in, and we will see you next time on Deadly Dissection.